Why Georgie and Mandy's first marriage is bringing Lance Barber back after George Sr.'s young Sheldon death. Young Sheldon is approaching a major turning point, and one of its most surprising developments involves the return of Lance Barber as George Sr., despite his character's heartbreaking death. With Georgie and Mandy's wedding set to take center stage, fans are speculating about how Barber's reappearance fits into the narrative. Given the significance of George Sr.'s passing in shaping Sheldon's future, his return, likely in a non-traditional capacity, offers both emotional resonance and an opportunity to explore the character's lasting influence on his family. A pivotal moment for the Cooper family. The decision to bring back Lance Barber amid Georgie and Mandy's marriage signals that young Sheldon is ready to embrace a more sentimental and reflective storytelling approach. George Sr.'s absence has left a deep void in the Cooper household, especially for Georgie, who has had to step up as the new de facto patriarch. His wedding marks a major milestone in his journey from a rebellious teenager to a responsible father and husband. It makes perfect sense for young Sheldon to find a way to include George Sr. in this momentous event. While he won't physically be there, his presence will be felt in a way that honors both the character and the actor's impact on the show. Whether through a dream sequence, a flashback, or even a heartfelt hallucination, George Sr.'s return serves as a crucial emotional bridge between past and present. How Lance Barber could return as George Sr. There are several possibilities for how young Sheldon will bring back George Sr. for Georgie and Mandy's wedding. Given that The Big Bang Theory already established George Sr.'s untimely passing, the show can't retcon his death. However, young Sheldon has room to explore creative ways to reintroduce the character. Flashbacks of fatherly advice. One of the most straightforward ways to bring George Sr. back is through flashbacks. These scenes could show moments between him and Georgie, perhaps featuring previously unseen or extended conversations that highlight the lessons George Sr. imparted before his passing. Young Sheldon has often utilized flashbacks to provide deeper context for the Coopers' past, and a wedding is the perfect time for Georgie to reflect on the wisdom his father shared with him. A dream or vision. Another possibility is that Georgie, overwhelmed with emotions about getting married, experiences a dream or vision of his father. This could be a powerful moment where George Sr. appears to give him last-minute advice or reassurances. Given that weddings are emotionally charged events, it wouldn't be out of place for Georgie to imagine his father being there, encouraging him to embrace this new chapter in his life. A letter or message from the past. Another touching way George Sr. could return is through a letter or recorded message he left for Georgie before he died. This would be a bittersweet but heartwarming way to include George Sr. in the wedding. Imagine Georgie finding an old letter his dad wrote, full of fatherly wisdom about marriage and family. It would serve as a reminder that George Sr.'s influence still shapes his children, even in his absence. Narrative bookending with adult Sheldon. Young Sheldon frequently features narration from Jim Parsons' adult Sheldon, and this could be another way to bring George Sr. back. The wedding might serve as an opportunity for Sheldon to reminisce about his father, prompting a visual or spoken reflection that allows Lance Barber to reprise his role, even if briefly. Why George Sr.'s return is so important for Georgie's story. Georgie's arc has been one of the most compelling subplots in young Sheldon. From being a mischievous teenager who often clashed with his parents to stepping up as a young father, his growth has been remarkable. However, his father's death left a significant gap in his life, one that has shaped his outlook on responsibility, family, and fatherhood. His wedding to Mandy is not just a romantic milestone. It's a moment that redefines his role within the Cooper family. Given the weight of this transformation, George Sr.'s presence, whether through a memory, dream, or flashback, would serve as both closure and inspiration for Georgie. It would highlight the idea that even though George Sr. is gone, his teachings, love, and legacy live on through his children. Additionally, this moment could provide an opportunity for young Sheldon to emphasize the stark contrast between Georgie's journey and Sheldon's. While Sheldon largely distanced himself from his father's influence, Georgie embodies many of George Sr.'s qualities, particularly his sense of responsibility. A return of Lance Barber in this context could highlight just how much of George Sr. lives on in Georgie. A tribute to Lance Barber's performance. Beyond the narrative significance, bringing back Lance Barber is also a way to honor his contribution to young Sheldon. George Sr. has been a beloved character, and his death marked one of the show's most emotional moments. Allowing Barber to return even briefly provides a chance to celebrate his role one last time before young Sheldon potentially concludes or transitions into a new format, such as a Georgie and Mandy spinoff. Barber's portrayal of George Sr. has been praised for its warmth, humor, and depth, making him one of the most beloved TV dads in recent years. His return would not only serve as a fitting tribute to his performance, but also offer fans a touching, sentimental moment before the show moves on from this chapter of the Cooper family's story. Setting up future stories for Georgie and Mandy. Beyond its emotional weight, George Sr.'s return could also set the stage for future developments in Georgie and Mandy's storyline. If a spin-off focusing on their married life is in the works, having George Sr. reappear in some form could help establish a thematic connection between young Sheldon and its potential successor. Additionally, George Sr.'s presence, whether through a dream, memory, or letter, could serve as a source of guidance for Georgie as he navigates the challenges of marriage and fatherhood. His brief return could reinforce Georgie's sense of responsibility, reminding him that while his father may be gone, his wisdom and love endure. Conclusion. The return of Lance Barber as George Sr. for Georgie and Mandy's wedding is a brilliant move that enhances the emotional depth of young Sheldon. Whether through a flashback, dream sequence, or a heartfelt letter, George Sr.'s presence will remind viewers of his enduring influence on his family. For Georgie, this moment will likely serve as a turning point, affirming his transition into adulthood and reinforcing the lessons his father taught him. It's a fitting tribute to both the character and the actor, ensuring that George Sr.'s legacy remains a vital part of the Cooper family's journey. As young Sheldon moves toward its final episodes or potential spin-offs, the return of Lance Barber offers one last, deeply meaningful moment for the character. It's not just about bringing him back, it's about honoring everything he stood for, ensuring his memory continues to shape the lives of those he left behind.